Now I'm making those decisions for everyone and then holding each person to, the standard of whatever it was that was set. So what has been brought here and what has been done here is exactly what these players deserve. And it's really exciting to be back. Probably a crazy woman running up and down the sidelines. I get asked all the time if I keep my steps on during games so I can see how many times I go up and down.
You know what's crazy? The Indiana Fever's coaching staff is so bad at their job, they might as well be trying to lose on purpose. I'm not kidding. Their defensive strategies are like a how not to coach basketball guide. And Caitlin Clark? She's caught in the crossfire. Let's talk about this mess. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. When everyone declared that defense wins championships, do you recall? The coaching staff of the Fever must have completely missed the memo. Their defense is so poor that it feels as though they are playing chess when the other teams in the league are playing basketball. Poor Caitlin Clark, too. She's been sucked into the center of this chaos. Let's dissect this defensive catastrophe. The Fever's method of applying icing to screens is absurd. They're essentially begging players like A'ja Wilson to score by leaving them wide open. It appears as though they are preparing the red carpet for their opponents to enter the paint with a waltz. Imagine this. While playing defense, Clark is facing the sideline rather than her opponent on the floor. That's the coach's fault, not hers, for failing to teach her the fundamentals of defensive positioning. When her opponent moves, how is she meant to recover? It resembles attempting to board a train that has already departed the station. And let's not even discuss their drop coverage approach. It's so useless that it's almost worthless. Left and right, opponents are taking advantage of holes in the defense to get open shots as if it were practice. There are more gaps in the Fever's defense than there are in Swiss cheese. Are you wondering just how horrible it is? This is an actual instance from a game. The ball handler was able to turn the corner and create a scoring opportunity because the Fever's players were unable to adequately ice a screen. And where was the aid from behind? Not to be found anywhere. A'ja Wilson might have ordered and had a pizza delivered before anyone arrived because she was left in such a vulnerable position. What could be even more absurd? This is harming not just Clark, but the entire team as a whole. They are making it far too simple for opponents to score. They are not communicating, and they are not rotating correctly.
Probably a crazy woman running up and down the sidelines. I get asked all the time if I keep my steps on during games so I can see how many times I go up and down. What has been brought here and what has been done here is exactly what these players deserve, and it's really exciting to be back. Just a lot of energy. I love coaching this game. I love watching our players get better. Just very passionate.
The instructors appear to be doing nothing more than watching a vehicle disaster occur in slow motion. It was expertly stated, this is just a poorly coached nightmare. It's embarrassing that the WNBA allows this. Furthermore, what do you know? They're accurate. For guys who entered the league prepared to excel, like Clark, it's more than simply embarrassing. It's tragic. Professional coaches ought to know the basics by heart, right? False. It seems like the Fever's coaching staff has never seen a basketball before because of how simple their mistakes are. To what extent is it truly bad? To put it mildly, zero brain cells might be an understatement. We're talking about coaches who are incapable of instructing their players in the fundamentals of a fast break. It's as if they have never used a hammer before and are attempting to construct a tower. Poor Caitlin Clark, too. She's attempting to play basketball at an elite level with amateur-level coaching, but she's stuck in the midst of this chaos. Let's dissect it. Basketball 101 is transition defense, right? It prevents teams from grabbing easy baskets while they're on the run. But the coaches of the Fever, when the other team starts to run, their players will seem like deer in headlights. It's embarrassing in addition to being awful. Imagine this. 3 Fever players are observing the ball as if it were a UFO, as an opponent is strolling nonchalantly toward the three-point line in hopes of making a wide-open shot. That is not strategy. Rather, it is a coaching blunder so spectacular that it befits a blooper film. Not to mention their genius plan to gather everyone around the ball as if it were the last piece of pizza. Yes, let's leave the court open on half of it. Professional basketball players aren't supposed to be skilled passers or anything. It's not simply poor coaching, it seems like they're attempting to lose on purpose. What could be even more absurd? This is harming not just Clark, but the entire team as a whole. They are making it far too simple for opponents to score. They are not communicating, and they are not rotating correctly. The instructors appear to be doing nothing more than watching a vehicle disaster occur in slow motion. Now put yourself in Caitlin Clark's shoes. As a sensational rookie, you're poised to dominate the league, but instead of taking off, you find yourself mired in a nightmare of defense. It's like attempting to knot your shoelaces together to win a race. With her coaches unable to impart even the most fundamental knowledge, how is she expected to display her abilities? This is about a complete lack of basic basketball knowledge.
I see athleticism. I see WNBA bodies that are going to be amazing for years to come. Now I'm making those decisions for everyone and then holding each person to, the standard of whatever it was that was set. So just, they have the ability to play with a pace. That's what this game is going to.
Not just poor strategy. These coaches are so inexperienced that they could pass for the Mariana Trench in a kiddie pool. The worst aspect too? One of the most exciting rookies the WNBA has seen in years is being wasted by them. What could be more insane than squandering Clark's first year in college? The potential long-term harm to her career. We are discussing a cascading impact that has the potential to completely alter the WNBA. Are you curious about how? It goes beyond the numbers. Now let's discuss confidence. Your rookie year in the WNBA is similar to your first album release. It establishes the standard for all subsequent events. Currently, Clark's debut isn't really a chart topper. Rather, it sounds more like a melancholic trombone. Her head is being affected more than just her game by this disastrous coaching job. Imagine having spent your entire career as the best player on the court, only to appear to be unsure of which end of the ball to shoot. It's what Clark has to deal with. You know what occurs when a player becomes insecure? Their entire strategy fails. It's like attempting to operate a vehicle on empty gas. You will not get very far. This is when things get truly spooky, though. This goes beyond Clark's numbers or even her first season. We are discussing her standing within the league. In the WNBA, rumors spread quickly. If Clark's coaching nightmare continues to cause her problems, other teams may begin to believe that she is overvalued. Furthermore, once the label adheres, it's more difficult to remove than gouge on your shoes. Consider it. What happens if Clark is perceived as damaged goods by other teams? What if they conclude, well, if she couldn't make it work with the Fever, maybe she's not all she's cracked up to be? This can imply fewer chances, less time spent on the field, and possibly even a shorter career. It is comparable to witnessing a star burnout before it has the opportunity to shine. And Clark isn't the only one being burnt in this situation. The Fever franchise as a whole is imploding. They are failing miserably despite possessing the top overall pick and the most anticipated athlete in years. The Fever may become the team that no one wants to watch as fans begin to lose interest in the team and ticket sales decline. They appear to have chosen to use the winning lottery ticket they were handed as a roller coaster. Wait, things get worse. This debacle has the potential to harm the WNBA as a whole. Clark was expected to be the next big thing, a player who would expand the league's fan base and elevate it to new heights. Bad coaching may force her to fade away, which would be a loss for the entire sport. Everyone loses, just like if Christmas were canceled. So what's the main point of this? The Fever must resolve this coaching issue as soon as possible. We're not referring to minor adjustments here and there. We are discussing a complete coaching makeover. If they don't, they risk damaging not just Clark's debut season, but possibly her entire career and putting the WNBA backward in the process.